booktube. So I am at the halfway point in Infinite Jest, and I thought I'd do a halfway video. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I had a bunch of videos filled, and I left my SD card at home, and I'm here with the internet at my parents' house, and oh, I felt so bad because I really wanted to upload some videos. But I'm going to do this kind of off the top of my head, kind of unscripted, unedited video because I'm doing it on my phone. So, as you can see, I'm a little more than halfway through now, Infinite Jest. And the Reading Roads did a halfway point checkpoint, so I thought I would follow his example and just tell you how I'm getting along in the book. So, there's a lot going on in the book. It's really hard to describe a plot because there are so many different storylines going on here. It takes place in generally two places: the Enfield Tennis Academy and the Ennet House, which is a halfway house for recovering drug and alcohol addicts. Okay, so there's a lot more. It takes place in the general, I think it would be our past, but the future in the novel. And a lot has changed politically. For example, Canada and Mexico are now kind of part of the United States, and they're called ONAN, the Organization of North American Nations. But pretty much the US is running things. And I'll talk more about the politics and the plot lines in a review video when I'm actually done, because I'm sure that video will be probably like 20 minutes long, just explaining plot-wise what's going on. I do want to say that David Foster Wallace is a genius. Was a genius. Unfortunately, he committed suicide a few years ago. But anyways, he had a MacArthur Fellowship. He went to school and he studied English and philosophy, and his strength in philosophy had to do with mathematics. So you really see a lot of his learning in here. The sentences are so in-depth grammatically, meaning that they are, you know, mostly grammatically correct, but that they don't seem it because the way we're taught grammar now is totally messed up, and I can rant about that in a whole other video. But the way he goes about it is so wonderful. I hear a lot of people call him kind of pretentious, and that this is kind of like him showing off. And I think a lot of people say that about a lot of experimental novels that kind of experiment with the form of writing, and I really appreciate that he actually took that dive and was able to do all those kind of experiments that we see so far. What I really like so far in the halfway point is that each kind of section where you're with a character or whatever, you're kind of inside their head. So the way he writes and the words that he uses change to reflect who the main character is. So for example, I'm right now at a point where you're with this kind of like gangster drug addict who is in the halfway house, and his words are kind of very simple, and he uses the word like a lot, and I can see how that could be frustrating for some people. And then you have another character who is really into grammar. She's Avril, one of the main character's mothers. She's part of the militant grammarians. So, like, when you're reading her, it's all very correct grammar and big words. And the same with Hal, who has an eidetic memory, who's one of the main characters, I guess you can argue. I said he has an eidetic memory. He memorizes dictionaries. So he knows all these big words, and he knows how to use them properly, because the school that he's at, the tennis academy, is very strong academically, not just athletically as well. What else can I say about this novel? The plot is very drawn out. Let me just see when it starts. No, it starts in the future. That's not the right one. It starts generally May 9th on page 32 here, and it goes right, I believe I'm in November, but it jumps back and forth in time, so like the plot is really kind of drawn out. You don't really have a lot of questions if you're understanding what's going on, because he explains everything. And when I say everything, I mean like you get detailed explanations. There's one point here, let me see if I can find it in the footnotes, where he has like math to explain, you know, this game that they're playing that involves throwing tennis balls at each other, well, at items on the tennis court. So you really understand, if you can grasp the words and the grammar and the way he writes, what's exactly going on. But at the same time, he leaves a lot in the air hanging. So the way he starts the novel, you're kind of really confused about what's going on. And even at the halfway point now, he hasn't really explained too much about what's going on. And there's the phone, so I'm just going to pause this for a second. Sorry about that. So I can't exactly remember where I was, but oh yes, the plot is, you don't really understand the overall plot, but you understand what's going on in the chapter that you're reading, to a point where you're just like, kind of sometimes it's like, okay, I get it. But I really enjoy that. I really like that he doesn't underestimate his readers. He expects them to get what's going on, and if not, to have a dictionary nearby, and to reread. Generally, my reading pace is about a minute a page in normal novels, but in this, it takes me 3 minutes to read one page, and that's without all the additional footnotes and everything. So I just suggest, if you do start reading this, that you have 2 bookmarks. I have my one here, which puts my place in the actual novel, and then one here that marks my place in the end notes. There's also another page that you should mark once you're past it. It's page 223, because I keep finding myself referencing that page as well. I know this video is all over the place, but I kind of wanted to get something up, especially considering that chances are I won't be reading too much else this month, because this is taking a lot longer to get through than I thought. So let me know in the comments if you've thought about Infinite Jest, or if you've read some other experimental novels, and what you think about them. And remember to keep on reading. Also, because of my lack of videos, my lack of internet, if you want to follow my reading progress and my thoughts and such like that, you can follow me on Twitter at @picklereads. Yes. So, thank you for watching and staying with me.